How you doing, Doc?
I am good. It's good to see you again. 2 times in
Yeah,
1 week. It's a special treat for me.
and me too.
I wanted to make sure that we had all those settings fixed from our time on Monday. So I know we did a nice evaluation. I got all the notes about your prescription, the games you wanted to play. So I've actually made sure that now that I can send commands to your console, that all those changes have been uptaked on your console. So I think we're good to go in terms of how things should be working on your side. What's been your experience so far? Because you played today, obviously. So tell me how that went.
All right. So basically, I started off with the games that I had been playing yesterday.
Yep.
I didn't move forward to any new games because there are some games that I enjoy playing, and I could put the 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes in on one game.
Yeah. Yep.
It makes it easier and it's more enjoyable.
Sure.
So the last game that I was on was the Motus Kart, and
Yes.
I stopped that game because that's where I said, oh, I'll come back later. I had already put in 2 hours in on a couple of the games.
Sure.
And yeah, I really didn't notice. I did notice on the space shooter game that you really cranked me up even harder than before. And I definitely had to take a pause every minute or so because my arm was screaming. And I'm thinking,
Sure.
boy, they make it harder, I'm saying, but by making it harder, it's just, I guess it's good because it's like a workout. But that's the only game I really saw the noticeable difference on playing. The other games, they do get a little harder, but not hard where it's really putting a lot of stress on you.
Okay. That's really good feedback. Now, I will say this, the changes that I just made right now would not be reflected on your device when you were playing it today. So all those other games, for instance, some of the easier ones are no longer on your console anymore. So now you have all the difficult ones. You have Space Shooter, Brick Breaker, Shape Shooter, Motus Karts. You got Symphony Hero, and you got Sphero and Solitaire as well.
Yeah, I see that now. I'm looking at it that you had there. Okay. And you don't have it. And these games are more or less to fine tune my finger motion or my hand motion.
Exactly. Yep. So this is working on two big things for you, Joe. One is that endurance, right? Endurance is really important. And the second thing is that fine motor skill. So the big ones for your fine motor are the Motus Karts and the Shape Shooter. Those are ones that are really important for the fine motor because you're having to control that force when you're using Shape Shooter because it's a different type of control mechanism. It's actually relying on proportional control of your arm instead of a direct control. So what that's doing is it's like the difference between a steering wheel and a gas pedal, right? A gas pedal, you push on, and you get a continual acceleration. You're controlling acceleration, not velocity, right? Whereas steering wheel, you're controlling position, not the velocity of that turn. And so it actually is a bit harder for your brain to map onto that. And so it ends up being better for you in terms of learning and generalizing your skills. So that's why I think those more difficult tasks are very important for you.
Okay. Now on the Motus Kart, which I was on when I stopped playing, I played it for like 20 minutes. It didn't feel different than it has ever felt. It's easy to control the car and keep it on track. So I didn't feel a lot more pressure on my hand moving up and down. I kind of understand the game. I see that after you go around one cycle, it's more down motion. And then I realized, I said, oh, look at it. And then when we go around another cycle, it's more up motion. It seems that way to me. I'm saying, one lap around, you're using more down. One lap around, you're using more up. It's kind of using both your up and down motion. I do find that when I'm going down, it's much easier for me to control the car that when I'm
Yep.
using my hand in an up motion.
Sure. Yeah,
But
and that's good feedback too. I think as we're going to be making more of those circuits, so more racetracks, and we'll make them more complex and make them more focused on extension, I think,
okay,
as you progress. Yeah. And like I said, I think some of those changes to your range of motion too, I made that are now on your console as well. So that's going to make it more difficult, just generally speaking.
okay, and that's for
Yeah.
the just that particular game.
No, this is going to be for all of them.
All right, because I could just feel you're moving my hand now.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So what I want to do now, go ahead and go down as far as you can for me. Great. Okay. I'm going to tune this a little bit here. Okay. And then go ahead and go up as far as you can. Yeah, I can tell you're getting a little bit fatigued because normally before that you would slam straight up there. So that's the real expression of fatigue right there. So this is
I was
good.
on for 2 hours, and it's
Yeah.
funny. Some of the games I'm on, when it shows me going up, I'm saying, wow, I can go up easy on this game, but on this game, it's a lot more difficult for me to get to the to go all the way up. But I'm trying to figure out why is it that way? And it's not like that game was a hard game. It's just that you've made that scale when I'm going up, and it shows that graph of going all the way up, and I can't get past the initial bar yet. I'm looking at now. I'm really struggling to get to 50.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's a combination of things. One, that's because I've taken away the assistance, and two, you've already done a lot today. So your muscles are already kind of fatigued.
Yeah. Okay.
So for instance, if I were to come up here and I'll provide the assistance, it's going to pump up even more real quick. Now try to go up and do extension as far as you can. See?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I can correct for that and this is why it's still good to have some level of assistance, because it will help you extend the length of time that you can do those big movements. Does that make sense? Because like if you didn't have any help, you could do it, but maybe you could do those maximum efforts for maybe 30 minutes or 40 minutes, but we can extend that longer, and that's better for you to be able to do it longer sort of sessions and more repetitions fundamentally.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I'm happy with these numbers here, I think. I'm really happy with the prescription, I think. And so let's touch base then in a week or so, and we can see how these new changes are going.
All right, that sounds great.